Hey everyone, I have got some bags and things like that that I'm gonna unbox and show you as we go through. I actually got everything with a discount as well, so I'll talk to you about that because at the time of this video, I'm gonna have a coupon code that will still work on it, and it's not a coupon code that I earn any commission from, and I'll cover that in 1 second. So anything that you see that you like, I'm gonna link to it below. No affiliate links in use here, so shop away. I'm not earning a penny, just to let you know. I wanted to talk about iconic brands, and actually iconic brands are the reason why I wanted to go ahead and try some of these items, and some of the items are from brands I've never actually tried before. Chloe and Givenchy, I think, are the main ones. I talk about brand a lot. My day job is that I'm in marketing, but one of the things I specialise in is I do digital, but I also do brand work. And you would be amazed at, when you work on a brand, how many years it can take, and the reputation and the PR and everything that goes behind a brand. It can take such a long time to build up a brand that has got a heritage and a history and an assumption. When you think of that brand, what do you think? Now, with the brands I'm going to show you, these for me are important because when it comes to a consumer, I like to, obviously I'm into kind of luxury and stuff like that, and I know a lot of you are, which is why you're here, but I like to shop and buy from brands that are iconic and long-term. So I'm going to share with you some of my favourite things, just some new bags that I haven't tried out before that I'm going to share with you my thoughts on, and chat about iconic brands, what I think are good to buy into, what I think that if you buy now, you're going to be safe within the future, and everything I'm going to show you, the 10% off that I mentioned. I'm doing this video with FARFETCH because I've been a customer of theirs since probably 2012. Do you know, one of the first ever videos that I think is still on my channel is actually where I bought a pair of Valentino rock studs from FARFETCH, and the way you can shop on there is quite good because you can find things that are actually less in price than if you go to the brand. I'll tell you how to do that because that's quite cool. The 10% off coupon, I'm gonna put it here, and I'm also gonna put it below in the description below. With, just really quickly, if you're watching this and you want to run off straight away and see what you can get with the discount, just a couple of things to make you aware of. The way that you get it to work, it only works if you have a new account. The 10% works on everything I'm going to show you, but it works on brands like Off-White, Givenchy, YSL, Prada, Chloe, Balmain. Pretty much fashion-wise, it works on just about everything except for Gucci and Fendi. And if you put things in your shopping cart that don't work with the coupon code won't work at all. So make sure that you have a look at the list of excluded brands below so that you just aren't having to waste your time. Givenchy. The Antigona is a bag that I've spoken about before, and it's one that I do and don't like, but I particularly wanted to show it because I actually quite like this size. Whenever I've seen it, I've only ever seen it in the bigger size. But I wanted to show this because I really do think that Givenchy is one of those iconic brands that's been here since the last century. The logo as well has not changed. Now, one thing that I always think when you're buying a brand, look at the logo. Some brands that I've spoken about recently, some I find when a new creative director comes in, they like to freshen up the logo and give it a twist, make it look a bit more kind of theirs. And the problem I find with this is that you can end up with a logo that might at best stick around, but sometimes you end up with a logo that when the next person comes in, it reverts back to that original last decade logo. If I give you the example of YSL, one of the best things I'm going to show you is this, because it's so well priced. Now I'm going to show how you can take a plain black blazer that is not designer. This is also linked to below, this blazer, and you can just put a pin brooch on it and you can give that illusion of the whole outfit kind of looking a bit more premium. Anyway, the classic YSL logo dates all the way back to the last decade, and I don't know the exact date, I'm going to put it in here. But this logo, I love the fact that it has not been touched. One thing that they have done, that the brand has done, is that they have altered the logo. They have a secondary version of it, because you know they dropped the Yves and now they just have Saint Laurent. They have got a version of it that is in a sans serif font. Sans serif means that it doesn't have the little serify edges that you get on the Vogue font, and they've moved towards that. Now for me, what makes YSL such a good brand to buy into with the bag that I'm showing you here, which I love, first of all, when they put this logo on their bags, because this logo never changes, I feel that this in its own right makes the bag an iconic long-term bag. It's really weird with Saint Laurent, I don't know why it is, but their bags are designed in such a classic, elegant and simple way that even when they're discontinued, they're still very wearable. And that for me is one of the biggest things when it comes to buying into an icon, is if you're into a logo, buy yourself a bag that has got, in my opinion, that classic original logo on it. Because I think that whenever you get a new creative director, at some point it always takes a step back to what it used to be. That's always been my thought anyway. All of the bags as well that I wanted to include are well under the £2,000 mark, which seems to be, that's where everything's heading to these days. So going back to this brand, if this bag, let's turn it round, if it didn't have a logo on it, what would your feelings be towards it? You might look at it and think that's actually really sweet, really good quality, like the detailing on the inside comes with a separate shoulder strap, and actually that shoulder strap is not one that they've made with an offcut of leather. That actually looks like they've spent some time with it. But what really adds something is the value associated with a brand. Adding that logo on it suddenly elevates how much this bag can be sold for and the desirability of it. We're living in an age where brands, particularly right now, brands have always been important. I mean, if you think about it, us individually, how do you perceive yourself? What brands do you associate with yourself? Do you see yourself as aligning with brands like BMW? You know, is that the aesthetic that is you? If you really think about it, what is the aesthetic that is you? Or are you somebody who associates yourself with a higher brand, you know, Rolls-Royce, Hermes? What a brand says about you is just as important as how you feel about a brand, and why you might take something like this and suddenly, because that brand speaks to you and the style of it feels like you, this in itself represents in a way you and your achievements. You know, I know a lot of people don't like logos, but one of the things that I think probably has a part to play in logos is the gravitas of look what I've worked for. Even if the bag does not have a visible logo like any of the Hermes bags, it's that gravitas of look what I've worked for. Like it or not, I can only assume that's the case with brands. And that is also why you have car brands like the Duster brand, which its USP is we are designed for people that don't like brands, that don't want to conform with brands, and that as a person themselves, they don't realise it. The person who doesn't want to be associated with brands, that is still their core value. That is still who they are. That's still what makes them unique to them. But you've got this whole spectrum of brand, what it means to you, and how much you integrate that brand into your life. Anyway, going back to this bag, sorry, I went off on a tangent. This you can get in different sizes and different colours. Now, I think this size is a limited edition size, perhaps. I think so, because this is one of the more mini ones. I do quite like a smaller bag, and that's why I wanted to take a look at this. They've actually gone to quite a lot of effort on it when it comes to the additional features. The piping around the edges, this is always one thing that I look at first, because that rubber piping around the edges, that says a lot about the quality, the attention to detail, particularly when it's not all in a straight line, that's a bit wiggly. Like a Mulberry bag that I've got. It's, as I mentioned, it comes with a crossbody strap, and if I just show you, they've put these kind of studs on it, but also on the hardware it's got Givenchy written on the side. Moving on to Prada, a brand that I really like. I feel like in the last year, this brand has become a lot more popular again. I feel that there was a point in time where I think back in 2014, it was really popular for, do you remember the Saffiano tote bag? And the popular colours were, I actually had one, the popular colours were in this sort of very pale pinky beige, or in this kind of, I think the colour was called Cameo, and then there was another colour that was a really soft pastel-y grey. That I feel like the brand was really up here, and then it sort of dipped to slightly, and then last year it's come back, and I think the one thing that's worked for it last year is bringing back the nylon range. Because of everything going on, the way we are dressing, the way we are living our lives has all changed slightly, and the nylon range was one that for me I really liked, because when I was going out, it was for a walk or it was to the supermarket, but I did not want to dress down and not enjoy my stuff. And the benefit to the nylon range is it's not very expensive, it's not very heavy either, so if you decide to go out with this, it's not the kind of thing that's going to weigh you down. It's actually quite good for a walk. It comes beautifully packaged. This one actually came through FARFETCH direct from Prada. So the way FARFETCH works, because I had one of you asking me about this the other day, FARFETCH is a platform that lets boutiques from around the world, small boutiques, sell their goods. And so when you go and shop on there, you don't necessarily know who you're buying from. It's when you've placed the order that there's a little flag icon, and it will say whether it's coming from Italy or France or the UK or wherever. But there are also the brands themselves on there. So sometimes I don't think there's loads on there, but I know if I order from Fendi, from Saint Laurent, and from Prada, I have before had those items come to me from the actual brand, but then I've had other times where they've come to me from boutiques. The benefit to that I actually find is, you know the Valentino shoes I was telling you about? I bought those back in the day at a significant discount that you couldn't get a discount on those for, because they were really trending and popular at the time. And the way that I got the discount is they were running a 10% off, which happened to work on that brand, but also obviously the boutique that put them on had put the prices on in euros, and at the time the pound was stronger than the euro, so I actually made nearly £100 saving on those, which was really big for those shoes. So when you go on there, sometimes I notice the prices fluctuate even from day to day, and not massively, but sometimes I notice that, and I believe it must be due to the currency and the kind of currency fluctuations that go on day by day. But the other good thing as well with this is that if you, say for example, I was looking at this pair of trainers a couple of weeks ago, and in the UK you can get them, but you can only get them in certain colours, and I know that in Italy you can get them in this particular colour that I really wanted, but you can't get over here. And I thought about FARFETCH, and I thought, if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be on there, because you can get such a wide range. And I went on there and I actually did get them in the colour that I wanted. So it's quite handy from the point of view of being able to buy things that aren't otherwise available in your country. It's about selection, really. I still have some more bags to show you, but I just saw these and I remembered that I wanted to show you these. If you're currently building up your collection and you haven't got the bag yet, but you're planning on it, but you're not quite there, if you want to inject a logo into your look, and let's say, one thing that I still do now, and I'm gonna do as I'm showing you here, is I'll take a blazer that isn't designer, and you can make it with accessories, you can make it look something that it's not. And I always think that a brooch is one of the best ways of doing it. And I saw this brooch and I thought, this is actually really nice. It's a really decent, nice big size. These, I'll put them on the lapel of a blazer, I'll put them on a coat. I wore a hoodie a couple of videos ago, and I just wore it on a hoodie, not this one, another one. Even on the brim of a fedora hat, these look really nice. There's a great deal that you can do with them. And for the price and for everything that you get with it, it comes with the box, it comes with the cards, it comes with the drawstring bag. That in itself, I think, is a great item, particularly for the price on that. The second thing that I wanted to have a look at is this, which is what is in it actually? No way! Oh, this is cool. I didn't even know about this. I saw this on the website. You can get it either in silver or gold hardware, and I wanted to have a look at it in the gold because the bag This bag that I'm showing you here, it kind of matches that. But also last year I bought the Salaron college bag using this 10% as well. And that kind of matches it. So I thought, oh, you know, I'll see what I think of it. Those two things together. I really like this bag. I like a top handle bag. I think they look really elegant. Really like the look of them. I've just noticed though that this comes with a key ring. So you could, oh, God, they've really gone to effort with this. Look at this. They've embossed the logo around there. Hardware on YSL is brilliant, I've got to say. I've got a couple of their bags and it just doesn't seem to scratch at all. It doesn't seem to mark. And one thing I like about it is that the gold doesn't rub off. That really frustrates me when you buy something and you think, yeah, that's got gold hardware and that's gonna go all silvery around the edges and not so long. Now for the Chloe bag, I think this is called the Chloe Drew bag. It caught my eye because when I was looking at things that I thought, might be quite good to try them out, see what I think, show them to you. This caught my eye because I'm specifically looking at really nice bags that are long-term, iconic, safe buys that are from brands that have been here since eternity and are going to stay with us, and where they haven't changed the logo. That's one thing that I'm really looking into now. And I saw this and I liked it as well because it was well under £1,000. I think this was about 900 and something. Some of the things I didn't realise about it, this is actually quite cool. So when I unboxed it, I thought that the chain handle had been deliberately tied in a knot onto each side, maybe for the packaging reasons so it doesn't come off. And I tried to unknot them, and then when I looked closer, I realised that's the design. They've been kind of welded like that. If I give you a close-up, you might be able to see what I mean. It's kind of a knot, and it looks like you could undo that, but you can't. All of the bags are a reasonably small size, which is just something that I personally like. I always go for bags that are on the smaller size, but at the same time, it's important for me that they're practical enough that I can actually fit both of my phones. I have quite big phones, and I'm showing you on purpose what fits in these because I think that's really important. When you buy a bag, particularly online, and you can't see it and feel it in real life, being able to see what fits in, even if you don't own that particular phone, I think it gives you a good perspective view of what fits into it. The handle is not removable, but it allows you to wear it on the hip, or it allows you to wear it crossbody. I actually quite like this now I'm looking at it. I forgot to mention to you this trench coat that I'm going to show you backed up in a second, but also these shoes, because I feel like these were really good value for what they are. If I just show you the packaging that you get with Prada shoes. So on the inside you get spare heel tips, authenticity and care instructions. You get 2 dust bags, and then these are the shoes, which I'm just going to try on in a second. What I quite liked about these is they've got a small heel, which right now, when I am going out, I'm not really wearing a huge heel, so that's those, and these are full leather, and then on the sole, they have got the Prada metal plaque. With this trench coat, they have with it, this is a suit bag, so this means that it's got a hole in the top of it for a coat hanger. You can hang your coat or jacket up in this, zip it up, and it stops it getting damaged or damp or moth issues in your wardrobe. I didn't know that they made trench coats at this level. Normally they're over £1,000. This was around about 700, and that was before the discount. This is made from, I would say, a taffeta material. It's really warm when I've got it on, but it's very, very thin. It also has a hood on it, which has got toggles so you can tighten it up. I think the hood is, the hood is removable. I thought that this, particularly at this time, is actually really good for spring. Tell you for why, because it's not really hot, but neither I think are you going to feel cold in this. Also, for anyone going on walks, anyone going on dog walks, this is perfect. If I show you the lining, it does have the Nova check print, but it only goes to sort of just below the shoulders. And then 2 final. I I didn't feel that I could move on without talking about those bigger iconic brands. But I wanted to keep to under the £2,000 mark. Ideally, I want to be able to talk about under £1,000. And I was thinking, well, good luck trying to find like a top level Dior or Chanel. Good luck being able to try and find one of those types of bags under £1,000. But then when I was looking, I thought I'd show you a couple here. Last year, so on FARFETCH, they have got, the website's kind of broken into, well, not into two, but it kind of feels like it to me. You've got the section that deals with genuine pre-owned, and then you've got the section that deals with all the new items. And then they've got a subsection where, well, it's not really, is it kind of a subsection where they deal with sustainable items? So if you're someone who likes to shop a bit more ethically, you don't have to trawl through pages, you can just go to that section and it's just got everything that's sustainable there. But have a look at this. This is a bag that I actually owned quite a few years ago and I sold it, and it's one that I do regret selling, although I do and I don't. So this is Gucci pre-owned and it's very well priced. Having owned this bag, I can actually give first-hand experience on this bag. So the bag itself is quite kind of like a tote. The version I had was the larger size, which was one of the reasons why I sold it, because for me it was just a bit too big and vacuous for my liking. This is the smaller size, which is one that I probably should have got, and it's a lot more manageable. But also one of the things that I think is really good, particularly if you're into a logo, is that because it's got a fabric on it, it's got the double G monogram logo, but it doesn't have it in that sort of beige and brown. It's got it in a black fabric, which makes it very muted. You've still got your designer bag, and if you're into a logo on your bag, you've still got that, but it's not kind of like screaming in your face Gucci. And I do actually prefer the Gucci back in the day to a degree. I actually do. Not everything. There was a point where they went a bit boring and downhill, but there was a point, I don't know if anyone remembers, I think it was 2008 or 2009 when they had that whole Hysteria collection. Does anyone remember that? I remember myself and my friends, we couldn't afford it, but everyone was like, I really want one of those bags. The second bag that I saw, thinking about Fendi, which is another really iconic, very well-known brand, is this. So you might remember last summer, I keep talking about it, is it in here? No, it's not. I bought from FARFETCH on the pre-owned section a Fendi Pre-Owned Spy Bag, and I love it because I really wanted that bag when I was a teenager, and then there was a point probably about 10 years ago I wouldn't have bought it because it went a bit very out of style. Now I feel like vintage has come back into its own. I feel that there was a point where I wouldn't have gone near vintage because I'd have thought, someone's used it and you don't know if it's going to smell. In recent years, with the way that prices have gone to, and also I think more of us are considering that quality value as the prices are going up. More of us are thinking, has the quality gone up in line with those prices, or has it actually not? And therefore, is it worth looking at buying something that's pre-owned and the price is less than buying new, and actually, although it's worn and has been used by someone else, it's got a history behind it. I really like the idea personally of having a Chanel pre-owned square mini flap from the 80s or 90s. That is something I'm keeping an eye out for. Just briefly to say, in that pre-owned section, they've got Hermes pre-owned, Chanel pre-owned, Dior pre-owned. They've got every brand on there, so it's quite good and they've got the clothing, accessories and the bags and sunglasses and everything, so it's worth kind of having a dig through if that's your thing. I hope that if you decide to have a browse and you do decide to get something, that you get yourself something that you love. I had a lot of you on the last video actually telling me about amazing deals you'd personally got on Saint Laurent products, which I think quite a lot of us like. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.